Lance Ulanoff, our guest. We're talking about the past, the present, and now let's talk about the future. A lot of people have kind of grim visions for the future of journalism, for the future of sites like Mashable. You see this kind of fragmentation, Facebook's influence, Twitter's influence. You guys, though, seem to really have your finger on what do you think is going to happen? I mean, how do you stay on top of change? It changes so rapidly.
I don't know. I feel like my career's been nothing but change.
Yeah, no kidding.
Going, from the day I started in publishing in 1986 to now, it's been a sea change, and it's been happening like, it's not like it happened at the end or in the middle. It was just constantly happening. Every time I was in a situation, I was watching the industry change. And usually the industry was trying to hold it back.
Right.
We're not ready. The difference is now that I think that the industry understands that change is inevitable and they have to adjust for it and see if they can get ahead of it. Like I said, Mashable is a much easier time of getting ahead of those changes because we have that fluidity. We're able to, when you're an online site, when you're an online media outlet, it's easier to pull things up and pull things down, put things up, change, move people around if you need to, change the mix of content and adopting these new tools and telling stories in different ways. But the shakeout, I think that the shakeout for the industry is going to continue for a while. I mean, we're by no means done. It's not dire because the reality is people. The reason I use the word storyteller in my talk was that humans are natural storytellers. It's part of our heritage. It's part of what we were doing since the days in the caves, where we were really reporting what had happened by painting that story on the cave wall. That really hasn't changed. We're still trying to tell a story. So it's just a question of the medium, right? How we do it. So that's not going away. But it's going to be still going to be tough for mainstream, so-called mainstream media, the stuff that had been around for a long time. And I'm not just talking print; I'm talking broadcast. They were all trying to figure it out and changing. I did a talk probably at this point. It's got to be like 6 years ago or something like that. At least 6 years ago, where I was talking about niche publications and I remember I was very tired. I'd come off off a red eye to do a panel, and so the filter was off. And I was kind of saying, the way I was talking about the industry was really unvarnished. I was I'm sitting with somebody from like an ESPN magazine and someone else from like all these magazine people, and I'm the only online guy. And I said, they're like, they're hemming and hawing. Well, magazines will always have dominance. And I'm no. Finally, I'm like, look. I go, let me put it to you this way. All those Hudson newsstands? 5 years from now, all of them will be half the size they are now.
Wow.
Because there won't be the publication to support them. And I said, all those niche publications, it's all going away. It's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. Yep. You're going to see. And after the talk, I was at the cocktail party after. And this woman runs up to me. She's like, so you think my stores are going to be half the size in 5 years? She's the executive. She was the executive director for Hudson News.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, I'm still like, I don't care because I'm completely out of it. I'm like, yep, that's what's going to happen. And I have to say, I was 100% right.
You were 150% right because most of those Hudson newsstands are gone. We had an amazing newsstand. I used to love to frequent it. We had every magazine. It was down at the Powell Street cable car turnaround in San Francisco. It's a hat shop now because there's nothing to sell.
Yeah, no, and there's no need for those to a niche publication to spend the money,
that's true.
The expense of print and distribution when they can do the same thing and build a following online. If they're smart, if they know how to do it, it can definitely be done.